with Mr. Ravi Bhaskarwar, director of Bond Debut, one of the director of Bond Debut. Bond Debut is always take care of your all over the skills that is related to soft skills. We deal with communication skills, study technique, and whatever the things that you need in your career, in your future career, in your present career, so that you will get success in from all over direction, from all the directions. We provide counseling, coaching, workshops, trainings. So today we have every Saturday we have live in Facebook and through Zoom, because if you want to interact, then you can join here and ask questions. Every Saturday we are coming with some experts from a different area related to career only. Okay, so now today I welcome Mr. Ravi Bhaskarwar is with me, and he has 30 years study. He has 30 years experience in study in critical analysis and practical approach towards stock market investments. Not a working professional in stock market, but has a passion study in stock market with neutral and practical approach. So he will start with the things, whatever the required for career in stock market and share market, everything with related to stock market. Yes, and I little bit know about investment and stock market, but I think he is the expert who will interact with you. But before that, he will start with some basics. So here I introduce Mr. Ravi Bhaskarwar, and I will request him to start the session and then interaction. You can put your questions in chat box, so that in after the some completion of the some session, we will take the questions. Thank you.
Very much. I think this will be a 1 hour session, including the question answer session. See, I am not an expert in the topic which has been given to me. The topic is basically jobs in stock markets. Now, I had been studying the stock markets for last 30 years, but never actually saw what the jobs are like in the stock market. But before we move towards our actual topic that's related to the jobs in the share market, let us briefly cover what exactly shares are. I think all of you know that the shares of various companies are traded somewhere. Now let's see what exactly the shares are. Suppose I am having 10 shares of Reliance. So I am an owner of Reliance, co-owner. Even if you have just one share, and that too in a joint account with someone else, with your friend, with your relative, still you are an owner. You are a joint owner. Suppose I have 10 shares. I am a lesser owner, smaller owner. Suppose I have 100 shares. I'll be a bigger owner. Mukesh Ambani has got crores of shares. So he is the biggest owner of the company Reliance Industries. Now that we know that shares are basically ownership, part ownership of a company. So nobody can claim of the listed companies that he is completely owning the company. Mukesh Ambani does not own the company completely, because shares are being owned by general public also. So he is a co-owner, but the biggest owner. Even companies own the shares. Suppose there is a company called ICICI Prudential. So ICICI Prudential, suppose, has invested for 1 lakh shares in Reliance Industries. So it owns 1 lakh shares of Reliance. Now it is another issue that ICICI Prudential also, other people also have stake in ICICI Prudential. People have invested into ICICI Prudential for different reasons, for policy, for other purposes, for tax saving purposes, etc. So we are actually investing through ICICI Prudential into Reliance. So in a way, ICICI Prudential is also owning the company, Reliance, co-owner, of course. Now, a question arises. Suppose I want to own 10 shares of Reliance Industries. So where should I go? See, just as if I want to deposit a lakh rupees in a bank, I should have an account with the bank. Suppose I want to put 1 lakh rupees in State Bank of India. So I have a certain account in State Bank of India, and State Bank of India, in that account, keeps my 1 lakh rupees. It may be a savings bank account, it may be a current account, it may be a fixed deposit also, or a recurring deposit, as the case is. So similarly, where do I keep the shares, or where from I buy the shares? So for that, I need to have a trading account with some company which trades the shares on my behalf. Okay, I am the trader, but the trading will be actually done by the broker. That is the company which will forward my trades to somewhere. Okay, somewhere we'll come to that somewhere. So here, the trading company, that is the broker, we generally call them a broker. So the broker is, what he is doing, he is opening an account on my name, just as the banks open an account on my name as a savings account. A trading company, that is a brokerage house, will open an account with them in my name, and that account is called a trading account. So now here we have seen how many parties so far? The investor, the bank, then the company where of which the shares are being traded or have to be bought. Now again, where do I keep the shares which I buy from the market? Okay, so for that, you have to have an account with a depository participant. Now, what is a depository participant? I'll come to it. But a depository participant will again have an account. I have an account with the depository participant where I keep the shares. Just as I keep money in the bank, I keep shares with the depository participant. Now, this is the next party, depository participant. Now, who are the depository participants? Generally, the stockbrokers, which are maintaining the trading accounts, also act as depository participants to maintain our shares. Now, a trading company, that is the brokerage house, will trade the share. It will buy the share from the market. Now, what is the market? We'll come to that. And then keep the shares in my account, which is with the depository service. Depository participant. Now again, where does the broker buy or sell the shares on my behalf. The broker will raise a request on my behalf with a stock exchange. Now, there is another party, stock exchange. What does the stock exchange do? Stock exchange will take all the requests for buying and selling of the shares from different brokers, and there the trading will take place on the stock exchange. Trading means buying and selling, simple. So now the stock exchange, there are mainly two stock exchanges in India. One is National Stock Exchange, another is Bombay Stock Exchange. So this stock exchange will take the orders of buy and sell from my broker and other brokers, and then match the prices, and they will execute the orders. Now, the depository participants have to have, just as the brokers have to have membership with the stock exchange, the depository participants, which keeps my shares, has to have membership with depository services. Now, depository services, this is the next party. So there are mainly two depository services in India. One is CDSL, another is NSDL. CDSL, just in short, we call CDSL. It is Central Depository Services Limited, and NSDL is the National Securities Depository Limited. So no need to remember the long form, and no need to even remember the names of these companies right now if you want to understand what the shares are or stocks are. Now these are the next parties, that is the depository services. Now again, there are mutual fund houses. Mutual fund I'll touch upon because mutual funds are directly related with your money and share market. And other kinds of mutual funds are also there, which are dealing with debt instruments mainly. And some mutual funds will be doing business with shares as well as debt instruments. And there are various kinds of mutual funds. And now who are the mutual funds managers? There are mutual fund houses. In fact, these mutual fund houses may be with Kotak, with Franklin Templeton, with Reliance even. Reliance also has a mutual fund house. Aditya Birla, they have a mutual fund house. You name it, and they are having the mutual fund houses. Generally, finance companies like ICICI, they have a mutual fund house. State Bank, they have a mutual fund house. So these mutual fund houses are also directly related with the stock markets. Now, how the things go about with the mutual funds is that I want to buy a particular mutual fund. Suppose I want to buy a mutual fund which is investing my, suppose, 500 rupees or 1000 rupees into large cap companies. So suppose I want to distribute my money over many large cap companies, maybe 20, 30, 40. So I'll approach a mutual fund house. The mutual fund house will take my money, 5,000 rupees, and it will distribute my money into the shares or different instruments like debt instruments or liquid instruments or bonds, debentures of various companies. So my money, that is 5,000 rupees, that is not remaining with one bank or one place or one company. So my money is distributed into various equity shares and various debt instruments so that the risk is down. The purpose of mutual funds is to keep your risk down. Suppose I buy 100 shares of Reliance with say 1 lakh rupees, my risk is only with Reliance. If Reliance tomorrow falls, suppose Reliance में कुछ गड़बड़ हो गया, भगवान न करे, तो मेरे तो पूरे पैसे गए. So what the mutual fund house will do is that they take your money and distribute into various instruments, various equity shares, various companies. In fact, they will put 2 rupees, 5 rupees, 10 rupees. इस तरह से आपके पैसे बढ़ गए कई जगहों. So your risk is averted. So generally, a mutual fund will come down drastically only if the complete economy is doing bad. Like India is doing bad. इंडिया की ही हालत खराब हो गई तो म्यूचुअल फंड आपका डाउन होगा. अब इंडिया की हालत कब खराब होती है? देयर आर वेरियस रीजंस. समटाइम्स इकोनॉमी गोज अप, इकोनॉमी कम्स डाउन. इट इज नेवर अ वन वे साइकिल. इट इज आल्सो ऑलवेज साइनोसॉइडल. ऊपर जाएगा, नीचे आएगा, ऊपर जाएगा, नीचे आएगा. बट ओवरऑल if you see last 40-50 years of Indian economy, it is only on the rise. जो फॉल आते हैं वो थोड़े थोड़े छोटे छोटे आते हैं. अभी a few days back, some 4 months back, the fall in economy was due to the scare of corona. It was not due to corona. It was due to the scare of corona. And initially this pandemic is new for us. So initially we were not aware of what kind of virus is this corona and how it will affect people, and in turn how it will affect the economy. So naturally the businesses started shrinking. So this shrinking was restricted to just 30% overall. 30% business was down, but remaining 70% business was going on. Later on, after a few days, when we came to know that we can control our exposure to corona, we can deal with this pandemic, our doctors are getting geared up, our police was helping that time, even if we were not so much of careful. So everybody and all the walks of societies, even the Gram Panchayat, even the district magistrate, all people, even the ministers, everyone was getting involved, and there were directives how to control this. So what happened? The confidence came back. The confidence came back with renewed modeling. Renewed modeling means everybody had to work, but differently. Same work differently. आप देख रहे हैं कि कोरोना के कारण ही हम ऑनलाइन क्लासेस कर रहे हैं, ऑनलाइन सेमिनार्स कर रहे हैं. देयर आर ऑनलाइन क्लासेस, ट्रेनिंग्स गोइंग ऑन, एंड ऑनलाइन कन्वर्सेशंस, ऑनलाइन वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग. सो what happened? The economy started growing. So overall, if you see last 40-50 years, the economy with a slight hitches is always continuing in the upward direction. So now, what are the parties involved? अब हमने देखा कि ये म्यूचुअल फंड हाउसेस हैं, ब्रोकर्स हैं, I myself, the investor, depository participants, depository services, stock exchanges. Now, so many parties, even if the depository services are two, which are designed by the government of India only, and the stock exchange are two only, which were designed by the government of India only, with private stakes also. But the brokers are a lot of brokerage houses, lot of depository participants, some around 300 depository participants, and above 500 brokers like Motilal Oswal, ICICI Prudential, ICICI Securities Limited, and so on and so forth, SBI Cap. And then there are the mutual fund houses, which is handling your money. for clearing amongst various instruments, equities, liquid, uh, uh, liquid instruments, and
Huh?
all this transaction of money is going on in between all these parties. Now, whether these transactions are going as per the guidelines issued by Government of India, as per the correct legal procedures, as per the correct methodology. So for that, to oversee all this, we have Securities Exchange Board of India. It is a government body, it is a board which actually deals with the practices involved. It lays out the different rules, different methodologies to act upon and to deal upon with all this money, all these securities, all these stocks, all these shares. And it has a bird's eye view over all the activities. Now, this is another part, SEBI. Okay. So there are so many parties, so many companies in the stock market, so many participants in the stock market. So there are enormous number of jobs in the stock market. Now, something will come into your mind. All these things are going online. So what is the requirement of so many people? There is a requirement of so many people because online is only part of the business. The remaining business is actually constituting around 90% of the stock markets. 10% only IT, software, computer, MCA, those people will be there. But you will be astonished to know that there is a scope for legal people also there. Well, now, what is the need of legal people? Even Securities Exchange Board of India, they are hiring legal people because they have to draft different methodologies. They have to draft different uh, styles and working for the different parties involved. So there have to be legal people. Now, general people are also there, like engineering, chartered accountant, finance people, masters in business administration from finance and other streams also. Again, you may think there is no requirement of civil or electrical people here. No, there is a requirement of civil and electrical people also. Now again, uh, all these parties need statisticians. Statisticians deal with the figures. So they have to be conversant with mathematics and statistics. Okay, so statisticians or the graduates in statistics, they also have scope, lot of scope in the stock markets. Again, language people, because when you draft a rule, suppose, or you draft a letter, or you draft a directive, or a draft a memo, then you need to have a proper and perfect language. So language people are also required, English, Hindi, maybe other languages. So there is a scope of for all the streams in the stock market. Now I'll touch upon a few more intricate these disciplines. Now, what these depository services do, they have to have regulatory correspondences. Then there are new projects involved. Okay, so people are to deal with the new projects also. Then there is a business development department with them. So people are required for developing new businesses. Then there will be accounting of all the figures, of all the money. So accounts department. Then again, Windows system operators and handlers and maintenance staff. Then Unix system handler administration. So these are the departments, or these are the specific requirements of the depository services. Now, here I'll briefly touch upon, apart from stock exchange or share markets also. I'm not actually touching the trading in metals, in bullion, that is gold and silver and all those other precious metals. Then commodities like chana, jeera, they also have exchanges for trading of these commodities. Then currency exchange. I want to buy dollars. I want to sell rupees. Then again, I want to buy back rupees and sell dollars. So there is a currency exchange also. I'm not touching upon insurance services. Insurance services are also directly or indirectly involved with the stock markets, because insurance companies are running mutual fund houses, as well as they have instruments of their own, like unit link, unit link insurance plans. So there again, stock market dealing is there. Then again, the banking system, that I am not touching upon, because how banks are involved, because the banks are dealing your money, then banks are also investing in the shares of other banks, in the share of companies also. So these are also the parties which are into the stock markets directly or indirectly. Now, so there are jobs there also. The jobs with the dealers of metals, dealers of bullion, dealers of commodities, dealers of currency, with the insurance companies and the banking companies. So jobs are there always. Now, something for the people who don't actually want to work for some companies, don't want to work for brokers, don't want to work for depository participants, and don't want to work for SEBI. For them, there are opportunities as an investor and as a trader in the stock markets. So what's that? That's what's that?
Self-investment.
That's like a self-employed person. So you deal with your own investments and you trade yourself to gain out of the stock markets. So this is also an opportunity in the stock markets, that you don't join a job, but you can be involved in the stock market and gain out of it by doing self-trading. Now again, there is a scope. If you have a penchant, if you have passion for stocks, then there is a scope in media also. You must have seen business channels on television, when there are a lot of newspapers which are dealing with some columns or completely with business and stocks, shares, debt instruments, and all those. Then you must have seen magazines which completely deal or partially deal with stock markets, stock market and come up with their analysis and recommendations. So media is also one place where you can, in fact, associate with either full-time or part-time. If you have a penchant for stocks, if you have a passion there, if you are good in language, if you are good in communication, then certainly media is one place. You must have seen the news anchors or the writers who are writing in the magazines or the newspapers, they have very nice language, very good communicative uh, draft of their articles, and very nice articulation. When you see the business channels, very nice articulation. There also the brokers also come to their channels as guests, and they also have a beautiful articulation. But this beautiful articulation has to be backed up with analysis and knowledge. So naturally, that analysis and knowledge will come to you only if you have a passion to deal with these instruments, to read about these instruments, to focus your knowledge on these instruments. Then only naturally this will all come. Now, generally speaking, if you work with a brokerage house, they will start, you will start with some job like a relationship manager when you are very young, say below 25 or below 30. So you will be a relationship manager. What does the relationship manager do? Relationship manager will be dealing with the customers of the brokerage houses. Just say, suppose I am the customer of the brokerage house. I have a trading account there. So there will be a relationship manager for me. That person may be relationship manager for many, naturally. They don't have to deal with us every now and then. They'll be dealing sometimes. So you start with the dealing manager, relationship manager. Then there are the dealers designations. What does the dealer do? Dealer will, suppose you don't want to place your order of buy or sell through the computer or your own login, then the dealer will do that on your behalf. The dealer will take the call on phone, or you can even visit their dealing room and they can take the call. Whatever the style of working of the brokerages house is there. They have sub brokers also, small sub brokers. You can even start your own sub broker franchisee with certain amount of uh, franchisee fees, and you can deal with the customers directly. So there is also a scope as a sub broker. The sub brokers generally are the dealers. Okay, so you visit there or you call them, and they will do the task on your behalf. So there is also scope of dealers with the sub brokers. Now, as you gain some experience of dealing with these stocks, naturally you will be put into some senior level. Suppose you are working with a mutual fund house. So they won't be having dealers and relationship managers because their task is a bit different. Mutual fund house will be putting your money through the broker, naturally, into some mutual fund. So they don't directly deal with you too much as the brokerage houses deal with you or the banks deal with you. So the mutual fund houses will generally require a bit more experienced persons. Now, what are these more experienced persons? The persons who have worked for 1 or 2 years, 3 years with the brokers or with banks or with sub brokers. They'll be hiring them more because mutual funds require more critical, fundamental, and technical analysis. Now, there are people who are actually doing this fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and even they have people to deal with the intelligence. Now, what does the intelligence do? intelligence will be in touch with the actual company people, with the actual data, with the actual dealers of the companies, with the actual shops, and they will come out with their own data. Like, suppose I want to, suppose the mutual fund house wants to put money in Bata. So whether they should put more money in Bata, less money in Bata, should they put some money in Mirza International, some in Liberty Shoes, or somewhere else, or don't put money in any of these and put some money in SpiceJet or Indigo? Now the intelligence works. See, intelligence has to be there because the eyes have to be open to the real facts, what's going on, what's in vogue. So they will hire people who will be into this kind of job of intelligence. They will be actually in connection with the company people, and that's generally unofficial. They will not write a letter, how is your company doing and all. It's all there on the domains of the companies. They'll say कि मेरी कंपनी कैसे कर रही है, वो आप देख लो इंटरनेट पे, इतना इतना प्रॉफिट हुआ है, 10% प्रॉफिट बढ़ रहा है हर साल. But this is not about how the companies are doing हर साल. This is about how the company will do अगले साल. How the company is doing today, how the company has performed in the last months, in the last month, how the company has performed in the last few days. Will it perform in the same way in the next few days, next few months, next few years? That all analysis needs to have very, very, very sharp, intelligent, and smart approach. So there will be people who are dealing with this. Then, as I told you, all these houses, all these dealers, all these mutual funds, they have people who deal with fundamental analysis. Fundamental analysis is how the company had been performing over the last many years. Whether the money put by an equity holder has multiplied, has grown, whether they are paying the dividends, whether the dividend is less than expected from the market, from the market point of view, whether the dividend is more or a good dividend from the market point of view. So they will do the fundamental analysis. They will see all the figures which are available generally on the domain of the company, or even these companies share figures with various brokerage houses, and those brokerage houses will be having the data with them. Even the portals have the data with them because all the data is public data. What the returns were, what was the income, how much the company earned, how much debt company has to pay back in the next few years, how much of dividend it paid, how much returns with respect to the equity they have, how much returns with respect to the assets they have generated, how much of cash they could not convert into profits, how much cash was just lying in the banks, or how much of the how much dividend was as percent of the equity price. So generally, suppose I have put 100 rupees into some share, so I may or may not get the percent of dividend as I wish, because companies pay dividend out of profits. So company may not like to share the profits, all of the profits with the client. And now what they do with the profit, they will again invest back the profit if they have confidence in their business. if they have confidence in their going business, then again, if they have some other business plans, some expansion plans, some diversification plans, then certainly they will put the profit into that. They will not they will not pay too much of dividend. But company which is not paying dividend or paying less dividend or more dividend, is it a good company or not? That has to be seen. That has to be analyzed. Whether the company will certainly be successful in diversification. For example, NTPC Limited. I had been working with NTPC Limited. NTPC Limited was earlier called National Thermal Power Corporation. Of course, it's a government of India majority company. Majority stakeholder is government of India, and others are minority stakeholders. So it has a backup of government of India. But just to give an example, NTPC was earlier called National Thermal Power Corporation. National Thermal Power Corporation because it was dealing only with thermal power plants. So that's why it was called National Thermal Power Corporation. But later on, as the years went by and success was multiplying and success was at a growth, so the name was changed and the diversification started into hydel, into
Yes.
Other solar power plants.
Nuclear.
Then
Yes.
again, NTPC made joint ventures with manufacturing companies. Again, NTPC had subsidiary, created subsidiary in mining, manufacturing, and other fields also. So what it became a multi-dimensional company which is dealing with power generation as well as manufacturing and other activities, mining. So a company may diversify, may expand, just as NTPC expanded. In 1975, it started with 0 megawatt of power generation. Now it is more than 60,000 megawatt power generation company. So when you have faith in the future businesses of the company, then you invest more money into that because it is hard-earned money of the public. So a mutual fund house will not be investing your money, or you will not be investing your money if you find a company which is not doing well or which may not do well with expansion and with that diversification. Then certainly you will not invest money which you have hard-earned money with you. So the mutual fund houses also has to see that. So here also there are a lot of opportunities, lot of analysis comes, and lots of knowledge analysis, lots of data analysis, and lots of business acumen. So there will be various kinds of jobs people will be doing individually as well as in teams. Now, as I already told you, all the streams they will be required in this, all the parties involved. Now, again, yes. Now again, as I said, media. Media people are not just the people who write beautifully and who talk beautifully. No, they have to have that knowledge. They have to have that research. So if you have an acumen for research into these things, research into these instruments, then again, analysis of these instruments and analysis of these data, then certainly, of course, with good communication skills, and good articulative skills, good voice, and a good body language, and good expressions, you can succeed in media also. So I think that's it from me. I'll be happy to take your small questions. I'm not an expert here, but I'll certainly try to answer to your queries to the extent possible. And just before we take those questions, I'll touch a bit upon uh, a different aspect now. Uh, See, I already touched that, but I'll also uh, tell you that companies at the starting level will directly don't take you, uh, don't hire you without certain certificate. So what's that certification generally required with these broking houses and all those other stakeholders, all the other companies, all the other establishments? There is a certificate called NISM certificate. So who provides the NISM certificate? NISM certificate certainly you can get after you write an exam. For that, various training institutes are giving the coaching, and NISM certification exams are conducted. There are various courses in that for NISM certification, like fundamental analysis course, technical analysis course, and other. So if you take those small courses, if you have a passion and penchant for the stock markets, then you take those courses. Nowadays, I think hopefully those courses will be available online only. You did not attend the physical classes. And then at the end of the course, you need to, the course will be as per your own choice, which field exactly you want to go into, like fundamental analysis or technical analysis, or you might go into bonds and debentures or other instruments. So these courses will be available with various institutes, and then you attend that NISM exam, which is conducted throughout the country, maybe around 150 cities. They are conducting exams there. So after the certification, with certainly your soft skills and your knowledge and your penchant and your passion, the companies will be wholeheartedly hire you. So I think I have touched. We have one question. So many people say that stock market trading is like gambling. Is it true? This actually, this question is out of the topic, because it is something like whether I am working in a company, should I continue working there? Or whether I have put my money in certain bank, should I continue to put there? See, stock markets, uh, the reason behind the stock markets is to have more transparency. More transparency, like a company which is doing everything within its closed walls and closed doors. You don't know what it will come up after 3 months. So people have faith, invest money in the stocks of the companies which are open. Now, how this openness comes? It is something like open policy. I have put my stocks on the stock exchange. Now, if you don't have the faith, don't buy those stocks. If you have the faith with the company, if you have faith with the management of the company, if you trust that they will generate profits, if you trust that they will make the stocks multiply, they will pay more dividend, they will diversify successfully, they will expand successfully, then you can buy the stocks of that company. So it is actually transparency. See, stock markets, the idea behind the stock markets is to have openness in the business, openness in the figures, and certainly the transparency that you understand what's going on. Suppose a stock is falling. Now forget this epidemic period, but before that, suppose a stock was falling by say 1% every day. So certainly people are not having faith in that company. So what in that in turn that company will do? That company will certainly look into why our stocks are falling. They will have that analysis. Maybe the analysis and the figures they are coming up will be better analyzed by an external expert. Because मेरे घर में तो सब कुछ ठीक है, मैं तो कंपनी अच्छी तरह से चला रहा हूँ, तो मेरा मटेरियल क्यों नहीं बिक रहा है? So stock markets are also like feedback to the companies. Now you will not certainly invest in the stocks where you don't in which you don't have the trust, you don't have the faith. So, but certainly your question is very important. Whether it is like gambling, if you want to see, it is a completely another topic also. I can even conduct on stock markets itself, the very intricate intricacies of the stock markets. So your question is valid. Some people who want to gain extraordinarily, your economy, your GDP is growing at say 8%. So if you put your money somewhere, it should go by 8 to 10% only. If you are investing in everywhere, but if you are investing in the good companies, then certainly your money will grow by say 12, 14% or 20% or 30%. If you put your money into good mutual funds with good analysts there, good managers there, they will invest your money in the good companies where you will certainly benefit. Now, if you want your money to multiply to 2 times in one day, so certainly that is gambling, because somebody is losing there. That's why you are gain. So you can, it's not bad that you are trading in a certain company. Those you are buying shares in certain company and tomorrow it gets doubled, or it rises 10%, 20%. So certainly it's not wrong that you have gained, because you had that intelligence and within 2-3 days you gained 20%. The person who was selling the share has not lost. He might have bought the shares 1 year back and it has already doubled. He bought the shares at 1 share per share, paid 100 rupees 1 year back. Now he is getting 200 rupees, and you have that intelligence, or you have that knack that share will rise and be rising 20% in 1 week or 1 day. So you are buying at 200 and you take back your 240. So that's not exactly gambling. But certainly if you want to earn 20% return every day, it will be amounting to gambling. So I will, completely different topic, but certainly I will not recommend this type of trading. That is the fast trading, gaining 20% in 2 days and all that. Just as you can gain 20% in 2 days, you can lose 40% in next 3 days also. So that is gambling. So gambling is not stock market. There are gamblers in the stock market. Okay. So whenever you misuse your misuse your knowledge or misuse your money. So as fast as the money comes, it will go fast. You might be lucky once, twice, thrice, but not every time. So that's the small piece of advice from me.
Yeah, anyone wants to ask, you can ask open.
Add if you want to. Okay.
Short-term investment, long-term investment.
I think this question is a very valid question. What is good short-term investment, or what is good short-term investment or long-term investment from Piyush? So I think I partially answered your query. In my opinion, that's my personal opinion. Short-term investment has to be avoided, should be avoided, unless you need money. Suppose you have put in 1 lakh rupees in some mutual fund, and next month the mutual fund is down by say 2%, and you need the money for a certain purpose, personal purpose or some business purpose. So certainly you will be happy with that 98,000 rupees to be carried away. Because at the time of your investment, you are not aware that certain requirement will come up after 1 month. So your intention was not to earn minus 2% returns in 1 month. Your intention was to earn smart, good returns after say 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. So generally speaking, long-term investments have given more money, more satisfaction to the investors over time. I know some investors who are holding shares of certain companies for last 20 years or 30 years. They have never sold. Even if the shares came down by 20, 30% at a time, even during the pandemic, some shares came down by 80%. But they were not selling those shares. They never sold. And they knew that this company will do well. This company will certainly come out of this temporary situation. And they kept invested. So after a few months, the shares again went to the pre-COVID levels, and they continue to hold those shares. Additionally, they even bought shares when those shares were down by 30, 40, 50, or 80%, because they had faith in that company. And this situation is temporary. Certainly, COVID situation is temporary, and we know that, and we have seen that we are coming out of this situation. The scare is gone. There is more movement and more industries and more production and services coming up. And of course, the pharma industry and IT industry were still doing well, and in fact are now even now doing well, and they were beneficiaries. I can say that was something they gained out of this pandemic. Certainly, uh, long-term investment. But of course, it's not the topic of the day. But still, I think I could answer partially.
What do you think where the market will be in next 6 months and 1 year?
Now, this is a good question, but again, that is a technical question and not concerned with today. But certainly, I can answer this if you have time. I can see uncertain markets in the next 6 months to 1 year, frankly speaking. That is my own personal opinion, maybe, based on whatever I have seen in these last 30 years. So there is an uncertainty in the market for the next 6 months or 1 year. And the reason behind the uncertainty is not COVID. The reason behind the uncertainty is the pre-COVID period also. Pre-COVID, there were already talks of slowdown in certain industries. And during the COVID, certainly that slowdown was accelerated in some with some industries. For example, uh, people were not buying cars. People were not buying shoes. People were not buying apparels, even online. So naturally, these people were not going to cinema halls. So cinema halls business was down. In fact, not going means whatever be the reason, with the directives of the government or their own choice, but they were not going. So cinema hall, again the even railways business was down. Again, this flying companies, air companies, airways, their business is down. Their planes are just standing. Now, why I am saying this for the next 6 months or 1 year is because we don't know how we all public in general will be handling this. If we maintain the social distancing as was requested by our government, we had maintained the quarantine, if we had maintained that hand washing, if we had maintained that we will not meet together, no meetings in one hall, then certainly the figures won't have multiplied this much. You would have seen that in the markets, people, whenever there is an unlock or a slight open this, they see it as ki the corona is gone. No, corona is not gone. Only the unlocking is there, and you have to maintain that discipline. So had we maintained that discipline in the first 3 months, first 2 months, the figures would not have gone up. But now, as people are smart, our country men are very smart, very intelligent, and they are understanding. They are now understanding. They are more talking of these things. They are more reading about this. They are more. They are watching more of the figures. So, uh, how much we will be able to comply with this discipline will decide where the economy will go in the next 6 months or 1 year. If I am quarantined, you are quarantined, and you are working from home and allowing other people to travel uh, on the roads, go to their offices, go to their factories, workshops, and don't rush into the shops all at a time, then certainly we'll win this.
Anyone want to add something? They can please. And thank you so much for your presence and watching everyone here on Facebook Live and even on Zoom. So your presence is always valuable for us. And thank you so much, Mr. Ravi Bhaskarwar. And I will add here, we take communication skills with all the things we learn from market, and then only we can provide such things in our workshop sessions. That's why we are going through such readings, learnings, sharing on this platform. Thank you so much. Uh, and in the last, if anyone wants to ask or speak something, they can open, or here we end the session.
A few words before we close, few words for you. I'll touch upon only 2 minutes. I'll touch upon a few things only for 2 minutes. See, whatever job you join, you need to have certain qualities. Okay. Maybe you are joining as a locomotive train operator. Maybe you are joining as a manager in Big Bazaar. Maybe you are joining as an engineer in ICICI Securities. You need to have certain qualities. And the topmost quality is that you have to be a good person. Now, why I say a good person? A good person is a person who understands the others also, who does not have to be selfish in all his dealings. There should be a win-win situation. A good person is a friendly person in friendly times. He will make more friends even with the service providers, even with the clients, and even with his own subordinates or seniors. A good friend does not have to go partying always with his seniors or subordinates or clients, but he has to be an understanding person. He has to be understanding the quality, the services, and the needs of the other party, and has to be able to communicate, to deal with what the other person is thinking about his intention or his uh, uh, service. So a few points only. See, you whenever you join a job, you should be able to take initiatives. Don't only do what your boss is telling you. You come up with ideas. Suppose you have ideas, and go tell the boss, tell the concerned manager in another department also. So take initiative. Then again, take feedbacks. Sometimes feedbacks are not written. The feedbacks are sometimes oral. So take the feedbacks with a positive attitude for improvement. Always upgrade your knowledge. Go on learning new things, new ideas. Don't waste your time every time watching, say, movies or serials. You can watch. It's good to be relaxing at times, but spend time in learning new things, new ideas, and other areas also. Then again, you need to communicate well, as I said earlier. Then you need to perform. You need don't have to tell that you are performing. You need to perform. You're performing. Your performance speaks words, in fact, and there is no better judge than your performance. Again, you should be in a solution mode always, not in a problem mode. If you have some problem with your working or with your boss, then you should go to the concerned authorities with solutions also. And the concerned authorities should understand that you should be able to make them understand that this will make this will bring more benefits to all the parties concerned, yourself, your boss, your other managers. Then, as I said, be compassionate. Compassionate means always see the other person's point of view also, because you have to create a win-win situation. It should not be I gain, you lose, so I'm happy. I don't care about you, because it's a long-term relationship with everyone you are dealing with. Even after retirement, even after leaving the job, the relationships are going, isn't it? So that's it. That's all from me. Lots of words of advice also. And so far as the technical questions were there, stock market, naturally, certainly this was not the right forum to answer those queries but I could answer, I think.
Yes,
Thanks a
and
lot.
for that purpose, we are planning for especially for people who are investing in stock market. We'll take special session for that to understand and how to invest. But today, your presence, I think it will be helpful for students who are going through the studies and looking for career in stock market. And for communication skills, we are there tomorrow. We have the session on coordination. basically coordination with customer, maybe with the employer, with the family members, with the relatives, whatever. But that communication matters. So tomorrow we have the session on coordination, and tomorrow we have 6 to 8 p.m. every Sunday we go with the session. And thank you so much for your presence here. And in future we will be there again every Saturday. We are on live related to career and communication skills. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for
And
giving me
here,
an audience.
especially, I will mention Ruday Bhaskarwar for your presence, because your presence in our especially career counseling and the guidance, it is really helpful for students, and many inquiries are there regarding your session again. So we will work on that, and for sure we will do. Thank you. Thank you, Shweta. Thank you, Piyush. Thank you, Akshay. Thank you, Ritika. And name is not there, but I know. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank
Manisha.
you. Thanks a lot for having me. Bye.
Thank you.
Uday is my brother. Thanks, Uday.
हा नाही, लाईव्ह बंद केलं. आता आपण इन्फॉर्मल बोलू शकतो.
Formal म्हणजे?
हम्म?